and a compression test today. The compression test is really the main test you're going to run into out there on the NWAC. You might also see an extended column test. We're not going to talk about that today. It's just useless today. So I'm sorry about my phone. I can't, because it's very old, I cannot turn the ringer off. So, for the shovel shear, I just like take my shovel blade, put it into the snow, 30 centimeters upslope. My saw measures for me, 30 centimeters. Oh. I'm just gonna cut down the sides of it. Doesn't have to go all the way. Just gonna go to my layer of concern. And I'm not prying like this, like levering it out. I'm trying to like pull.
Oh!
So that was hard. So you rate these as being easy, medium, or hard. That was hard. I like put my whole weight into that. And I just pulled out, and it's like
a small car.
And it's totally, it's not planar. It's just like a jumbled mess of that wet snow breaking underneath, pulling it out. I would say that is essentially like a non-result. So the only reason I really do a shovel shear is to clear out an area so I can get behind a column for a compression test. I'm just gonna finish clearing that out. Trying to preserve the snow, especially here on the left.
If it was more planar, would that be like a slab indicator?
Yeah, I'd be worried about there being more possibility of propagation.
Mm-hmm. Like an igloo.
Great igloo. All right, so a compression test is a column in the snow. It's 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. So I already kind of got my 30 upslope there, and then 30 cross slope there. So I'm just going to cut out this block. So I want to be careful as I'm going down and make sure my line is pretty vertical, pretty plumb here. And then after I've cut down it, I like to make like a little wedge. So I really want to make sure the thing's isolated. If I perform a bad test, like a poorly done test, I'm going to get a poor result. It's not representative.
Oh!
Little trick there.
Pie.
We're just my deep wedge here.
Hope you brought your cooler.
When the snow's a little softer, too, to like finish this part of the isolation, I'll even take like my shovel handle and like use that to clear this out. But if I do that, it's gonna mess up this block because of the practically ice layer. And I'll cut down the back.
That's so weird. That was fun.
And I can see that the saw is like coming out the other side, so I know I'm isolating. So once my block is isolated, I put the shovel on it. I'm just going to demo right here. And I start tapping on the shovel blade with increasing force. So it starts with 10 taps from the wrist, which look like this. So I'm just using my fingertips. So 10 of those. Then 10 taps from the elbow. Just essentially letting the weight of my arm fall on the shovel. And then 10 taps from the shoulder, which is like really wailing on it. Sometimes I'll take my ski pole. Can I see one of yours? I'll take my ski pole and I'll like do it that way, because if you're doing it right, it'll hurt you. So I'm just going to demonstrate this little test. I'll settle it into any fist hardness snow. The reason I'll do that is because my skis are going to penetrate that deep in the snow, so my shovel might as well start there too. This is so funny. What we're looking for is breaks down here.
Yourself. Oh,
Okay, we got a break.
yeah.
So on 3 from the shoulder, so 23. So if it breaks when you get it from the fingertips, it's easy. From the elbow is medium, and from the shoulder is hard. And then if you get through all 30 taps, then it's X. CT for compression test, X. That makes sense? So once I get the break, I grab the slab and I like slide it around. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Wow.
So this remains, I would still call this non-planar. I know it looks a little more planar because just the way I slid it off, but it's actually like quite undulating in here. This is, in this case, a non-concerning result. I'm glad we got some result. The reason that this failed is because this crust here, I like hesitate to even call it a crust at this point because it's so thick, but this melt freeze layer is supported by its connection to itself, essentially. So by isolating it here, it reduced the ability for it to support itself that way.
Okay.
And just failed on this wet snow
Oh,
underneath, under essentially its own weight. Yeah.
Cool.
What does that tell you about the snowpack?
Okay, let's pretend that this is a nice dry slab and this is a nice persistent weak layer. If I got that same result, a CT23 or a CTH, with that setup, it would tell me that while the snowpack is strong, if this was a planar fracture here and not like this nasty thing here, it would tell me that while the snowpack is strong, like it supports a lot of weight, but when it fails cleanly.
Okay.
So that would suggest to me that the potential avalanche that occurs on this layer could be quite large.
Okay.
Although it might be challenging to set off. If you hit the right trigger point, you could set off an avalanche that is quite large.
So if you just like had some super white snow and you did it and it failed like almost immediately in a planar way, that'd
Yeah.
be like bad.
Yeah, I'd be a little freaked out
Okay.
by that, for sure.
If it failed
Hopefully
in a
I'm digging in a safe
non-planar way,
location.
would you be worried?
If it failed how?
Like a non-planar but easily.
No, so like the less planar, the less I'm concerned about it.
Okay, that is like the
Yeah, non-planar but